Mika, and I'm an educator at the Challenger Learning Center in Tallahassee, and welcome to our first installment of IMAX Movie Monday. Each Monday at 11 a.m. we'll be adding a new movie and learning lab to our Facebook page and YouTube channel, so make sure you tune into those. Wild Oceans focuses on South Africa's coastline and the apex predators that patrol its waters. An apex predator is a predator that's at the very top of the food chain. You can watch this movie on DocumentaryMania.com or on Vimeo. Our first activity is an experiment geared towards our friends in the kindergarten through second grade, where we're going to be testing different aspects of water density. The first thing that you'll need are 4 clear glasses. You'll also need some water to fill these up, and we're going to make sure that each of the cups has the same amount of water. We're also going to need some baking soda, salt, and sugar for our experiment. And the first things that we're gonna want to do is label our cups. So we're gonna have 1 cup for each of the things that we're mixing in: baking soda, salt, sugar, and 1 cup we're going to be adding nothing in, and that's going to act as our control. Control is a term in science that we use when we don't affect anything in this cup. So the first thing that we're going to do is add the same amount of water to each of the cups. I'm going to add about a half a cup to each of the glasses. We want to make sure that they're the same amounts so that this doesn't affect our results of our experiment. So the next thing we're going to want to do is add 2 tablespoons of baking soda to 1 cup, 2 tablespoons of salt to another, and 2 tablespoons of sugar to our sugar cup. So we're going to go ahead and do those right now. Once we add them in, we can mix them up to make sure that all of the particles of the sugar, salt, or baking soda dissolve into the water. And if you look closely, you can already see some differences between the 4 different cups. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to test the density of these waters. So we're going to want to test which one of these has the highest density. So we've grabbed some random objects that have different weights. So we have a plastic dinosaur, a penny, a paperclip, and we're going to add them in to each one of these cups at a time and make observations about what we see happening. So we've added our 3 items into this control glass, and we can see that the paperclip and the penny have sunk to the bottom, but our plastic dinosaur is still floating. So what happens when we add these items into the other 3 glasses? This experiment will show us how water density changes depending on what's in the ocean. So go ahead and put the other items in your other glasses and make your own observations. This next experiment is going to examine how fish swim across different bodies of water and how they control their buoyancy so that they can go up and down in the water column. This activity might be best suited for our friends in grades 3 to 5. So most fish have swim bladders. Swim bladders are a type of sac that hold air or oils in them, and they help the fish control its buoyancy, so it helps it move up and down in the water column. We're going to be doing an experiment where we are essentially creating a fish with its own swim bladder to see how that works. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to gather our materials. We're going to need 2 or 3 straws, a balloon, a glass bottle, and something that's going to act as our ocean so we can test how our fish works. So I have over here one that I have already taped. So we're just going to tape the balloon to the straw so that there's no gaps and so that the air goes straight from the straw into the balloon. We can test this by blowing it up, and we can see that the air is actually going into the balloon. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add this swim bladder into our fish. So this glass container is going to be the body of our fish. So we're going to take our balloon and tape it to the inside of the container. All right, once we have that taped in, we can see that this is the body of our fish, and inside we have our balloon, which acts as our swim bladder. We can test it to make sure that the balloon's still gonna blow up. And next, we're gonna test how it works in our ocean. So we're gonna drop our fish into the water, and it's gonna probably fill up with water. That's all right. We're just gonna wanna make sure that our straw is outside of the water. This is the point where you might need 2 or 3 straws to keep the straw from going underwater. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna fold up the straw a little bit so I can tuck it into the other straw to make a longer one. So now we have our fish with its swim bladder and our way to add air into that swim bladder. So go ahead and experiment with what happens with when you blow air into the swim bladder or let air out, and how this changes the fish's buoyancy. That's it for our experiments for wild oceans. We look forward to seeing you when Challenger Learning Center opens back up again. But until then, check us out every Monday at 11 a.m. on our Facebook page and YouTube channel for more movies and learning labs. Thank you.